Are you playing on the computer again? Even though you're relying on your husband's support, you're worthless. My mother-in-law doesn't understand that I work, no matter how much I try to explain it to her. And now she finally said this. My daughter is coming back for childbirth, so get out. This person doesn't seem to know who pays the $2,500 rent. I've had enough, so I decided to leave the house. The movers efficiently transported my belongings. Hey, what exactly are you doing? What's wrong with me selling my own things? My name is Katie. I'm a 34-year-old graphic designer. It has been 2 years since I married my husband, Cole. We were originally colleagues at the same company, and our relationship gradually grew closer after he approached me during a company drinking party.
I like you, Katie.
Huh?
So I want you to see me as someone who's into you romantically from now on.
If someone suddenly says something like that, even if I didn't like it, I would still become aware of it. After that, he started inviting me out on dates frequently. As he put in a lot of effort to pursue me, I gradually began to open my heart. And after going on several dates, we decided to start a relationship. He was incredibly kind and gentlemanly, and I found myself increasingly drawn to him. We continued to date smoothly, and after about 1.5 years of being together, he proposed to me.
To me, Kate, you are an irreplaceable presence. Please, marry me.
Yes, I gladly accept. Thank you. And that's how we decided to get married. We immediately went to meet each other's parents. My parents liked his sincerity and quickly gave their approval for our marriage. Katie, you can be a bit strong-willed, so I'm relieved you found a good person. Hey, Mom, that's a bit harsh.
Well, well, Katie, you're the strongest one in this household, you know?
Dad, please stop teasing me.
Ha 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 ha.
It was great that the marriage introductions went smoothly in such a friendly atmosphere. Afterward, he and I went to visit his parents' house as well. Thank you for coming. Please come in.
Make yourself comfortable and come on in.
His parents welcomed me with smiles. I'm surprised to see such a cute bride coming for Cole. Oh no, I'm not that cute really.
Well, it's a workplace romance, huh? Who made the first move? Of course, it was me. Oh. Hey, what's with that?
He blushed with embarrassment as his parents teased him. The marriage introduction with his parents went smoothly and in a friendly atmosphere. His parents seemed kind, and it seemed like we could have a happy married life. After that, we also had a meeting with both families. That was when I met his younger sister for the first time. His sister seemed a bit lively, or rather youthful, but in terms of age, she was actually 3 years younger than me, so at that time she was already 29 years old. I was surprised when I heard that you were getting married, Cole. But I'm getting married soon too, so it's a joyous occasion, right? Oh, really?
Oh yes, our daughter actually has her wedding planned for this year too.
That's truly wonderful. I feel so full of happiness already. Hearing that Cole's sister was also getting married made us incredibly happy. Afterward, Cole and I had our wedding ceremony. Our colleagues at work didn't know that we were dating, so they were all quite surprised, but they congratulated us. Many of our friends and relatives attended, making it a lovely wedding ceremony. Afterward, we went on our honeymoon and started living together upon our return. Our newlywed life was incredibly enjoyable, and every day felt like a blessing. I decided to resign from my job after getting married. However, it didn't mean I became a full-time housewife. In fact, I had been working as a graphic designer. I decided to go freelance when we got married. That way I could earn an income while taking care of household matters. I had been preparing for this kind of work from home setup for a while. Therefore, as soon as I became a freelancer, I secured contracts and had a stable income from the start. Of course, I managed my schedule efficiently and took care of household chores like cleaning, laundry, and cooking for the sake of my husband.
This creamy pasta is really delicious.
I'm so glad you like it.
Make it again, okay?
Sure, of course. I'll make it. My husband always compliments and enjoys the meals I cook. That's why I feel a great sense of accomplishment, and since I work from home, I can make dishes that require more preparation time. Cooking had become one of my hobbies. We were happily enjoying our newlywed life in such a delightful manner. Time flew by quickly, and 2 years had passed in our married life. My career was progressing well, and my income was increasing. We had a good relationship with each other, and we continued to have a joyful married life. However, amidst this, a sad event occurred.
Huh? Dad?
A phone call came to my husband, and it was from his mom. Shockingly, she informed us that his dad had suddenly fallen seriously ill. My husband and I rushed to the hospital. My father-in-law had to stay in the hospital for a while, and since then we frequently visited him. However, his condition worsened, and sadly he passed away. Cole's mom broke down in tears by her husband's side.
Why, Dad?
My sister-in-law was crying in the hospital room with my mother-in-law. My husband was also deeply saddened, but he must have felt that he needed to stay strong. He asked for my assistance, and we started arranging and preparing for the funeral. I made up my mind to help my husband with all my strengths, and provided various forms of support. Thanks to that, we were able to swiftly proceed with the funeral preparations. Many people attended my father-in-law's funeral. Considering how kind-hearted my father-in-law was, it made sense that he was well-liked. I also received a lot of support from my in-laws when I visited their home, so I can understand why my father-in-law was so beloved. We bid a proper farewell to my father-in-law, knowing well how much he was respected. After successfully completing the funeral, my husband and I returned to our daily lives. Then, after a little while, we started receiving frequent communication from my mother-in-law. It seemed like she was reaching out to us quite often.
Are both of you doing well? When will you come home for a visit? The other day our neighbor gave me some delicious sweets. If you like, why don't you come and have some?
Most of the contacts from my mother-in-law were invitations for us to visit my husband's hometown. Both my husband and I thought that she must be feeling very lonely. Since my father-in-law passed away, she's living alone without us or my sister-in-law. It must be lonely for her. My sister-in-law lives a bit far from home due to her husband's job relocation. It takes a 23-hour drive to get there, so it's not easy for her to visit frequently. On the other hand, it's only about a 30-minute drive from our house to my in-laws' place. That's why my mother-in-law probably wants us to come and visit her. Therefore, we made an effort to go to my in-laws' place on our days off, whenever possible. Each time, my mother-in-law seemed delighted, and we felt relieved. However, my mother-in-law started contacting us repeatedly, expressing her desire for us to visit. Observing her behavior, one day my husband made a suggestion to me.
How about living together with Mom?
Huh? Living together?
Yeah, I mean, Mom must feel lonely on her own, and it's also a concern if something happens while she's alone. If we live together, we won't have to go back and forth all the time to check on her, right?
I see. I thought that could be an option. Certainly it's a bit inconvenient to go through the trouble of preparing and visiting my in-laws' place on our days off, but I wonder if living together will work out. My mother-in-law is a kind person, but there's no guarantee that there won't be any issues between daughter-in-law and mother-in-law. I was really troubled.
If living at my parents' house doesn't work out, we could rent a new place and set up a working room for you. Our family home is old and there aren't many rooms. How about renting an apartment where you, Katie, can work comfortably?
My husband made such a suggestion. I thought it was a good idea. Indeed, living together at my in-laws' place would be a bit inconvenient, and I had that feeling. If we move to a place with more rooms, everyone's privacy can be preserved. I was convinced by my husband and decided to live with my mother-in-law. When my husband proposed it to my mother-in-law, she immediately agreed. And my mother-in-law sold the family home and moved with us to a new residence.
Wow, it's such a spacious and beautiful place.
I never thought we could live in a place like this. The apartment we moved into has a slightly higher rent of $2,500, but everyone gets their own room, and there's a separate bedroom for us as a couple. It's quite spacious now, and the kitchen is all modern, so cooking is easy. We were able to live a very comfortable life. Above all, it's a newly built rental apartment, so everything from the interior to the exterior is beautiful. My mother-in-law seemed happy to be living with us. I thought it was a good decision to live together and move here, but around 6 months later, I believe, was when my mother-in-law's attitude started to change.
Katie, don't you have anything else to do than always locking yourself in the room during the day and playing?
Huh? I was surprised when my mother-in-law said that. I work from home and I'm currently working.
I can tell you're lying.
I had previously mentioned to my mother-in-law that I work from home, and my husband should have explained it to her as well. I was confused because she said something like that.
As a daughter-in-law, your job is to take care of the household meticulously and support your husband. Just because you're good at cooking, don't think you can get away with it. The fact that you're slacking off will eventually be exposed.
It's not true. I'm not slacking off. I'm working while doing household chores.
A normal job is something you go to the office for. Don't make up excuses.
I was perplexed by my mother-in-law's change in attitude, and since then her treatment towards me has become increasingly harsh.
Hey, the supplies are running out.
Oh, sorry. I'm planning to go shopping in the afternoon, so can it wait until then?
I want to drink the things I want to drink now.
Not being able to drink what I want when I want is the worst.
I want you to be more responsible. I feel sorry for Cole for having such a terrible wife.
My mother-in-law would verbally abuse me like this every day. I couldn't bear it, and talked to my husband about it, but he didn't listen.
Mom bullying you? No way, she wouldn't do such a thing. Besides, she talks to you kindly with a smile during meals, right?
That's because you're there. It's much worse when we're alone during the day.
Mom wouldn't do something so mean.
It seemed like my husband blindly trusted his mother, and he couldn't believe what I was saying. In situations like this, I think a husband should believe his wife. I felt a little disappointed in my husband, and the bullying from my mother-in-law continued. Lately, she has been constantly pressuring us about when we will have children.
Are you infertile? You have absolutely no redeeming qualities.
Her heartless words kept piling up stress on me.
Are you playing on the computer again? You're just wasting your husband's money.
No matter how much I explained, my mother-in-law refused to understand that I was working. And she finally said something like this.
Recently, we're temporarily living here.
Huh? What do you mean?
Just got pregnant.
Huh? What do you mean?
Unlike you, she's a good girl, and she's going to give me a grandbaby. So you'll have to leave.
Huh?
Of course, having a stranger like you around is nothing but stress for that child.
Wait a minute. Aren't you going a bit too far with your words?
You're so annoying. You're just a parasite in this house. It's better for my daughter's peace of mind during childbirth if someone like you who gets in the way is gone. Leave because my daughter will be coming back for her postpartum stay.
My mother-in-law's words are unbearable. Does she not know who pays the monthly rent of $2,500? I decided I had reached my limit and made up my mind to leave the house. I understand. I'll leave. When I said that, my mother-in-law smiled as if it suited me.
Fine, as long as you understand, you don't have to come back.
Ignoring my mother-in-law's words, I began packing my belongings. That night, I talked to my husband, or rather, it was more like a final confirmation. Will he ultimately choose me over his mother? I explained to my husband that his mother told me to leave because his sister is coming back for her postpartum stay. In response, my husband laughed, saying his mother wouldn't use such harsh words like leave.
Don't twist the fact like that,
he said with a smile.
If that's what Mom said, I'm sorry, but why don't you temporarily go back to your parents' house or something?
At that moment, I realized that this person was hopeless. He's a mama's boy who values his mother more than his wife. All right, I understand. I said that and immediately made a phone call to a certain place. It was a house moving service. Luckily, they could come tomorrow, so I quickly made a reservation. And the next day, on Saturday afternoon, the service people arrived.
Huh? What?
Seeing several moving personnel entering the house, both my husband and mother-in-law were surprised. I instructed them to take all the furniture and appliances. The moving people efficiently moved the belongings out of the house.
Wait, what are you doing? Why are you moving the TV and refrigerator?
My mother-in-law shouted like that. I coldly looked at her and said, "What's wrong with me selling my own things?"
Huh?
All the things in this house were bought by me.
That's a lie.
If you think it's a lie, why don't you ask Cole? My mother-in-law looked surprised and turned to my husband. My husband answered,
"Oh yes, it's true. Katie bought all the furniture and appliances in this house. But why do you need to sell them if you're temporarily leaving the house?"
My husband asked me that. "It's because I'm getting a divorce from you."
Huh? Divorce? Why all of a sudden?
My husband was taken aback by the mention of divorce. "Because I've repeatedly told you about the harassment from your mother, but you never listened. I can't continue a married life with someone like that, so I'm leaving. I know your income is insufficient to pay the rent here, but do your best." My husband's face turned pale at my words.
Huh? You mean the monthly rent for this house is $2,500?
Of course. I was the one paying it. My mother-in-law turned pale when she learned the truth. I must have explained countless times that I work from home. I can't live with a mother who didn't believe me and showered me with hurtful words anymore.
Wait! I'll apologize, so please forgive us. I won't kick you out of the house.
Yeah, I'm sorry too for not believing your words, Katie. Let's continue living here together as a family of 3.
Even if they said such things, it's already too late. It's unfortunate, but repairing something that's already broken isn't that easy. Besides, you're just apologizing because your own lives are in jeopardy. If you continue living together like this, you'll quickly return to being the abusive mother-in-law and the mama's boy you used to be. The moving personnel who were moving the furniture chuckled at my words. My mother-in-law and husband looked embarrassed as they lowered their heads. After seeing off the moving personnel who finished moving the items, I placed my belongings at the entrance. "Well, here's the divorce papers." I handed the divorce papers to my husband and left the house. My mother-in-law and husband watched in astonishment as I walked out. After that, I went back to my parents' house temporarily. It seems my husband continued to refuse the divorce, but I hired a lawyer and submitted evidence of the abuse from my mother-in-law, including recorded conversations. In the end, my husband agreed to the divorce and we separated. And then his sister returned for a temporary stay to give birth. And by the time his sister came back to have a baby back home, they already had to cancel that room. Well, honestly, my husband's income was low, so it was impossible for him to continue living in that place under those circumstances. Moreover, he would need to buy new furniture and appliances, which would require additional money. In the end, it seems they moved to a cheap and small rental apartment. But my sister-in-law didn't come back just for a regular visit. She had gotten a divorce due to an affair and came back home. It is said that she was caught with a baby from the affair and was kicked out of the house by her husband. Even though she had hoped to return to her new and beautiful childhood home, it seems that her family's situation has taken a turn for the worse, and she is feeling desperate. It seems that she is in a difficult situation where she cannot receive child support, and on top of that, her husband is demanding alimony from her. As a result, everyone in my in-laws' family is working hard just to make ends meet. They deserve what they got. On the other hand, I am living comfortably at my parents' house after a long time, and my work is going smoothly as ever. For now, I plan to focus on my work while taking a break from romance and marriage. I'm even considering the possibility of starting a new life abroad. Why do people bully their daughter-in-law? and the husband who blindly believes his mother is just despicable. It seems like it was a good thing for Katie to cut ties with such a family. She has enough independence and income to support herself. From now on, live freely for your own sake. I sincerely hope that she will have a happy life ahead. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to the channel. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.